Hey guys, welcome back to DC Action. My name is Chris. Today we're going to be covering the issues of Lazarus Planet for January. Just before getting into all the breakdowns, I'd like to recommend a reading list prior to heading into this event. Primarily, I would read Batman vs. Robin issues 1 through 4, and if you want to extend a little bit more, I would also recommend Batman Superman World's Finest issues 1 through 6, along with Monkey Prince issues 1 through 10. But anyway, now getting into this month's issues of Lazarus Planet, and there are going to be 5 of them, that being Lazarus Planet Alpha, Lazarus Planet Assault on Krypton, Lazarus Planet We Were Once Gods, Lazarus Planet Legends Reborn, and Monkey Prince issue 10. Now the order of these may change a little bit due to the way they come out, however I don't really know the way they fit in chronologically, so it might chop and change, but those are the ones that are going to be covered. Starting with Monkey Prince issue 10. This issue begins with Monkey Prince and Supergirl being confronted by the Ultra Humanite after fighting amongst themselves. We saw this at the very end of Monkey Prince issue 9, but it gets explored a lot more here. They end up taking down the Ultra Humanite, but then the Lazarus rain starts to fall, and Supergirl goes to help the people in Metropolis after hearing their cries for help. Meanwhile, Monkey Prince reconvenes with his family and learns that his grandfather is the Ultra Humanite. Supergirl struggles to deal with the chaos in Metropolis, but lucky for her, Monkey Prince became aware of this and lends a hand. The two of them then go off to the Hall of Justice to assemble a team, and we see more of this team in Lazarus Planet Alpha. Monkey Prince's grandfather also creates a phantom zone projector in order to free a supposed monkey god. This is presumably Monkey King, who is Monkey Prince's father. Anyway, now let's head into the breakdown of Lazarus Planet Alpha. This issue picks up right after the end of Batman vs. Robin issue 4, where Batman, Robin, Talia al Ghul, and Black Alice flee Lazarus Island after fighting the devil Nezza and seeing a volcano on the island explode, releasing Lazarus resin all over the earth. Immediately we see the Lazarus chemicals cause severe weather conditions all over the earth, causing many problems for the heroes of the earth to respond to. The plane Robin and his allies are travelling in crash lands, with Supergirl and Power Girl saving them. Robin then conscripts the heroes present at their crash site for the fight ahead. The heroes present being Zatanna, Blue Beetle, Blue Devil, Supergirl, Power Girl, Monkey Prince, Shazam, who in this case is Mary Broomfield, and Cyborg. Zatanna informs them all how magic has gone haywire as a result of the Lazarus resin, which also seems to be the case for scientific-based powers also. The heroes are divided into 2 teams, with Shazam, Zatanna, Power Girl, Blue Beetle, and Black Alice going to the Tower of the Fate. I'll be referring to this team as Team A, while Team B, comprising of Batman, Talia, Blue Devil, and Supergirl, try to track down Nezza before King Fireball can find them. Meanwhile, Robin and Monkey Prince stay behind to, quote, manage late arrivals. As Team A attempt to break into the Tower of Fate, they are attacked by the Silver Horn King, who is working for King Fireball, and of course a fight commences between the two. Similarly, Team B encounters one of King Fireball's servants, that being the Golden Horn King. Supergirl and Blue Devil keep their adversary busy, while Batman and Talia enter Ra's al Ghul's old lair to find the devil Nezza. However, Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing seem to be one step ahead. Monkey Prince attempts to comfort Black Alice, who is quite shaken after being used by Nezza in the events of Batman vs. Robin, and this appears to be working for now. Back with Team A, they managed to trap the wolves that they were being attacked by, however they still need to get inside the Tower of Fate. Meanwhile, Team B takes down both the Golden Horn King and Nezza. We get a brief page that shows some locations around the Earth affected by the Lazarus eruption, and it includes a list of the upcoming issues of this event, with characters that will be included in each. Feel free to pause the video here and take a read of this. Team A then get inside the Tower of Fate and find a bunch of characters from around the DC universe, all appearing to be magic users. The issue then ends with Batman transforming into some devil form and King Fireball finding Robin. We then get a secondary story focused on Monkey King who is the father of Monkey Prince. In this story, we see Monkey King team up with the Devil Nezza to defeat a King Bull demon. Here we see a bit of an origin story for Nezza and King Fireball, where we learn King Fireball is the adopted son of Nezza. At the end of this mini-story, we find out Shifu Pigsy is being held captive by Nezza, meaning that Monkey Prince will likely go to rescue him. Now moving on to Assault on Krypton. This issue opens with Nia Null, aka Dreamer, talking to Cat Grant about a potential job at the Daily Planet. However, this call gets interrupted when Nia gets a vision of the events currently taking place across the world. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, Batman, who is currently unconscious, is being tended to in the medical bay. Then Dreamer greets them after travelling through Batman's dreams to get to them. She tells Robin and Supergirl that the future has gone dark, and that the key to restoring it lies within the Helmet of Fate, which is currently unaccounted for. Dreamer then goes into the dreams of current Dr. Fate, Khaled Nasur, to track down the helmet. However, Nezza has trapped his subconscious in his dreams, making him unaware of his life as Dr. Fate. Naboo's voice guides Nia to the helmet, however, and then when she makes contact with it, she appears to wake up in a Lazarus pit. Although the panel where this is present is kind of a bit confusing, so it could definitely be something else there. Next in Metropolis, John goes after a shoplifter. However, once they both get hit with the Lazarus resin, John seems to combust, while the shoplifter gets volcanic abilities. Two of them then go around the city helping people and stopping criminals, and then the shoplifter fakes losing his powers in order to get away from John, and in the process steals his cape. Meanwhile, in LexCorp Tower, lightning strikes through the window and hits Mercy Graves, giving her powers. We see these powers in work when she transforms her hand into knives, a shield, and other various items to fight off some wolves that are present in the building. Next we catch up with Power Girl, who after fighting the Silver-Horned King, believes she is dying. She ends up in some sort of green environment with manifestations of the original Teen Titans appearing to her, and as she fights them off, the environment changes again. She then pushes through this environment changing thing. I don't really know what's going on here, to be honest. But then she eventually finds Omen, and the two of them then escape. And in doing so, they discover that Power Girl is somehow now psychic. They have no idea how, but I do hope it gets explained soon, because it is very confusing. Alright, now diving into the next issue, that being We Once Were Gods. We open focusing on a random family who find a person stranded and hurt. They take him to their house and attempt to heal him up, but they also tie him down as they are not accepting of heroes and the kind of troubles they bring along. Eventually, this mysterious person breaks out of his bindings and attacks the family. As the family tries to fight back, Aquaman steps in and stops the fighting, telling them that the Lazarus water has dragged this person and numerous others out of the trenches. It's said that this story will be continued in Dawn of DC, which may mean that we'll be getting a new Aquaman ongoing. In the next story, we see a man who gained the power to consume others' emotions, taking away their pain and suffering, but this eventually overwhelms him. Martian Manhunter attempts to help him, and in the process sees a memory of Doomsday in this man's mind that allows him to reconstruct himself. John attempts to take this memory away from him, thinking that he can handle it. But this doesn't exactly work out, and Jean begins to transform into a Doomsday creature. The other man, who is named Raphael Ars, takes back the memories, but given the stress it causes, he somehow transforms into a gem. The next story focuses on Wonder Woman, who trains her friend Baya, but then she is dragged into the ocean and Diana must follow. Eventually she catches up and takes Baya back to the land. However, people calling themselves the War Dead follow, and a battle between them and the Amazon begins. The Amazons eventually win, but there appear to be many more undead creatures that will be coming to attack. But we will see more of that in Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods. Next we follow a story focused on Shazam and Malik, who, if you have been reading the Black Adam comics, you will know is a descendant of Black Adam, whom shares the same powers as him. The two of them go into the Rock of Eternity to find and free Billy Batson. However, the Rock of Eternity doesn't want him to leave, and so fights back. Eventually they realize that being trapped inside the rock is not the only way to stay with it. So Billy traps the rock inside of himself, and returns to Earth, and is then reunited with his family. However, the wizard is furious by the actions of Billy and the others and swears revenge on them. And once again, we will see more of this in Lazarus Planet: Revenge of the Gods. Now moving on to Lazarus Planet: Legends Reborn. This story follows Renee Montoya, who works the case as commissioner. After realizing the case is not of an average crook, she goes out as the question. Following a few clues, she finds some kids being held captive in a storage facility. But when she attempts to get them out, a big monstrous creature attacks. She fights it and eventually defeats it with the assistance of one of the kids. Then in the next story, Raven tracks down 3 demons and attempts to help them with their condition. However, Trigon intervenes and kills 2 of the demons while recruiting the other. Next we see someone who gets abilities from the Lazarus Rain, and these abilities allow them to see through the floor as well as phase through it. They end up in a sewer and start to drown, but Nightwing saves them. This person finds some sort of crown, and when touching it has a vision of the person it belongs to, and so goes out and returns it to them. However, they do then get away with one of Nightwing's weapons, and this story will apparently be continued throughout the year, possibly in a Batman comic or Nightwing comic. Next we follow Firestorm, who separate into their 2 bodies after the Lazarus Rain affects them. However, this separation leaves Martin Stein hurt and unable to merge with Ronnie again, although the specifics of which are not really revealed yet. However, when attacked by a Shadow Demon, Ronnie merges with another person, who together send the Shadow Demon back where it came from, and close the rift that brought it to Earth. However, there are more rifts out there, which means they must continue to work together. The story then ends revealing what happened to Professor Stein, that being, when they separated, he aged up significantly, putting him in a hospital bed. Alright, now that is all the issues from January, and now let's get on to the reviews of each. So starting with Monkey Prince issue 10, I quite enjoyed this issue. While not a lot happened, it gave a bit of backstory to how Monkey Prince and Supergirl got their team together. As this was released after Lazarus Planet Alpha, that was a bit of a mystery to me. Also, seeing the banter between Monkey Prince and Supergirl was quite funny. As for Lazarus Planet Alpha, I thought it was a really great start to the event. While it is still very open-ended, it didn't leave me overly confused, but yet still wanting more. I think seeing a variety of character interactions throughout this event will be a highlight for me, as some of the ones alluded to seem interesting, but also seeing various heroes' powers on the threads will be cool to explore. One small nitpick for this issue would be the secondary story. However, that is probably just a problem for me, as I find it quite difficult to follow the mythological side of things. But it does leave room for a cool rescue mission in upcoming issues. As for Assault on Krypton, as is usually the case for multi-story issues, this issue kept us on our toes at all times, but that being said, there were certain moments I preferred over others. My favourite story from this issue was probably the one centered around Dreamer, although a close second was the Superman one. However, just because Dreamer is a fairly new character adapted from the Supergirl TV series, I'm quite invested to see how she is developed in the comics. The Power Girl story was just really confusing to me. However, I like the idea of her having some psychic powers, although I really want that to get explained soon, and her collaboration with Omen could be fun to explore. Then as for We Once Were Gods, similar to the last issue, this was a multi-story issue, although I think this one was slightly worse, especially the first half with the Aquaman and Martian Manhunter stories. That was just a bit confusing to me. However, the second half, focusing on Wonder Woman and Shazam, was a step up and kept me engaged. Suffice it to say, I'm looking forward to seeing those stories pan out. And as for Legends Reborn, to be honest, I didn't enjoy this story for the most part. The first 3 stories were quite boring to me. However, the final Firestorm story was interesting, and I hope it gets explored further. But anyway, those are all the issues from January. So that is it for this month. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more content like this. But until next time, this has been Chris, and I'll be seeing ya.